Okay, welcome back to a new vlog. I think this video is mostly gonna be about me kind of focusing on myself a little bit and taking a break. I actually just got off a call with a friend that I made on Instagram, which is kind of insane because I'm such a shy person. I'm not someone who usually reaches out to people, but actually this person reached out to me. So a little bit background story about this person. So we kind of started our art pages on Instagram around the same time back in 2020, and you know, we kind of like liked each other's stuff, commented, but we never had that kind of like, you know, banter on the DMs or anything up until now, 4 years later, which is insane. But it just felt like, you know, even if we didn't do that, it felt like we were friends. So, you know, she just kind of reached out asking if we can chat, and so we FaceTimed and we talked a lot about just like small business things, like just venting out on our struggles, our wins, things that like bothered us. It's just nice having like a friend to talk to about all these small business things and like very like niche things that only people who are working on a small business understands, because obviously like you can talk to your friend about like your struggles and whatever, but like they won't like truly be able to resonate with you because they're not in that position of like knowing how it feels to run a small business. So it's just nice to like have someone, you know, validate you on certain things about running a small business. But one thing that we kind of talked about as artists is like how we have been making art for so long, and it's usually to sell, whether it's like a sticker or print or whatever, but we haven't been able to, you know, just make art for fun anymore. Obviously we love making art for our shop and everything, but like when was the last time you did other artistic or creative endeavors? Like mostly for me, I'm like a digital artist, so I don't always have time to like paint or knit or do other creative things, and we kind of just like spoke a little bit on that and how we don't have the time to do any of those things, and we're always just so focused on our small business, so it's kind of hard to just kind of give yourself time to do all of those things. So what I'm gonna do this week, since you know I have kind of like a week or two break before my next pop-up and before the holiday season starts, I'm gonna try and like just put myself first. And I know I also have some time to hang out with my friend later this week, so I think this would be like kind of like a PTO for me, because you know when you're in a corporate setting you would take these like PTOs, or you would take these like out of office days to go on vacation or just to recharge. And I think when you're running a small business, sometimes you know you're working 24/7, you're working on the weekends after 5 o'clock at night, so you don't always like put yourself first, and you don't always give yourself that break, because you know like your small business is your passion and you want to work 24/7, but sometimes you also need that time off and you need to, you know, recharge. So yeah, I think what I want to do is actually sew, because I haven't sewed in so long, and it's always been in the back of my mind that I want to make like a Kindle sleeve or a laptop sleeve for myself, because my laptop and my Kindle is just, you know, free balling right now. I like transport it everywhere all the time, and I'm so nervous that it's gonna like scratch or like get damaged because I don't have like a cover or anything for it. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm gonna try and draw my iPad for myself and not for anything other than that, because like I said before, like everything I draw is basically for my shop. So I think like I just want to draw just to draw. Like I want to experiment with new brushes, I want to like experiment with color, so I'm gonna try and do that. And then like I said before, later this week I'm hanging out with my friend in the city. We're both unemployed, so we have that kind of luxury of just going out on a random Wednesday. I'm gonna start off the day by just having a slow morning by myself. I'm gonna go to brunch. I usually go to this brunch spot called Buvette. It's like a French spot in the city. It's pretty basic. It's on the Lower West Side and they serve, you know, French breakfast. But what I love about it is it's so small and there's always like single seats for people who eat by themselves, which is usually me, especially when I used to live there. I love just like having that like me time. So that was always a, you know, a spot for me to go to when I want some luxurious solo time. But yeah, and then after that we are going to be volunteering at this place called like Heart of Dinner. It's a organization that bags grocery and food for the elderlies in Chinatown. So we're just gonna be decorating bags and then they're gonna be stuffing it with groceries and delivering it to elderly people. And then after that, we'll probably have like lunch and then we have scheduled like a yoga session in the park, which is probably the last one like I would do because fall is coming and it is getting a little chilly. So I don't think I would do yoga in the park after that because it's just gonna be too cold. So yeah, I think we have a good plan for the rest of the week before, you know, holiday hits and we have to grind until the new year. Okay, so the first thing that I want to make with, you know, this creative outlet journey is a sleeve for my Kindle. And like I said before, I have like no covering for this. It's just on its own. So I want to sew something so that it can have a book sleeve. And I have fabric. I got this at, I think, like Hobby Lobby. And I'm excited to just use it and make other things. It's like the perfect fall fabric because it's mushrooms and I feel like mushrooms are so like trendy right now and there's mushrooms everything, mushroom lamps, mushroom pillowcases, everything. So I think I might have gotten a little too much fabric for just a small Kindle, so I'll probably use this like elsewhere too. But in terms of sewing, I feel like I know the basics of it, but I haven't sewed in so long. I took a sewing class back in high school, which was, you know, eons ago. And I got so frustrated from it because I feel like I'm such a perfectionist that if, you know, a seam is not perfect or straight the way that I want it, I'm just gonna rip it up. And that's already just so frustrating in general. So I haven't sewed since. No, I lied. I like sewed earlier this year because I was like hemming my curtains in my house because they were a little too long, but other than that, like I haven't really touched a sewing machine, so I actually don't know what I'm doing. So I think we're kind of just gonna free ball it a little bit and, you know, make mistakes along the way and see how it goes. Again, I have a lot of fabric, so I think we have room to make mistakes. And also I kind of just watched like a TikTok video on how to kind of do this, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this like correctly. But like I said, we're gonna just make mistakes along the way and see how to make this Kindle sleeve. So let's get going. So I feel like I don't have the right materials to like make this correctly. Like my scissors are these like kindergarten scissors. The professional scissors that I have is in my car and I don't want to get it out because I usually pack it with me for pop-ups and it's just like deep somewhere in one of the boxes that I don't want to unpack at the moment because I don't feel like unpacking all my stuff when I have a pop-up in like a couple weeks. So we're gonna work with these, you know, kindergarten scissors. Hopefully it cuts fabric well. Okay, so besides my mushroom fabric, which I'm gonna be using on the outside, I also have leftover fabric from my curtains, so I'm gonna use this like on the inside. And then I bought some like batting that I could use in between all the fabric just so that in case I drop my Kindle, it's protected. I've never worked with batting before, so hopefully it goes well. So yeah, let's get to cutting. Okay, so first things first is cutting the fabric. And to be honest, I'm not sure how much to cut. I think I want probably like an inch or two of sewing space so that it's like fitted and not like moving around a lot. I don't know, to be honest. Like I feel like I don't usually know how to like measure things, I feel like normally I have like a template or something and I just like cut along that. But this is like a really free-balling project. And plus, I think normally you use like chalk to kind of outline where you want to cut, but I actually don't have that. So I think, like I said, this would really be like a free-balling project. So hopefully it goes well. I know you can just cut the seams off a little later. So I think we're fine there. Okay, if I'm doing any of this stuff wrong, just let me know because I'm clearly not an expert at this. So I think I'm gonna give maybe 1.5 inches of the sewing. So I'm gonna do 1.5 inches here. And then on the other side, I'm gonna give it another 1.5 inches. So I'm gonna just mark it up right here with like a marker. Hopefully that comes off, but it's okay because this is like gonna be covered up by something else. And then I'll probably give another 1.5 inches, maybe 1 inch. Wait, actually I want to measure here first, right? Because I probably want to like do this, right? Gotta seam it up like that. Oh gosh, okay. And then I'll probably, let me give it like another 1.5 inches, probably. I'm gonna just give this measure. And then I will use like a ruler or something to kind of draw the lines in. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. have these 2 rectangles cut. So what I think is gonna happen is I am going to kind of do this and sew the sides at the bottom and then the other side, and then I flip it. We usually do that, or at least from what I remember from sewing class, is we do that because you can hide the seams. Otherwise, like, it's just gonna look like a pita pocket or something when you're sewing it versus when you're doing I can't even show it, like something like that where you can like hide, oh, something like that where you can like hide the seam when you flip it. So I think that's how you're supposed to do it. The other thing that I'm gonna do is at the top where I'm gonna keep it open is I'm gonna sew it like this so I can hide some of the seams, or like the whatever it's called, the edges where there's a lot of thread hanging out, so it's a little bit more cleaner. I think that's how you do it. I feel like I'm like watching all these videos, but they're so quick that like it's hard to kind of make sure you're doing it right. I'm trying to also measure it out so that everything is even and that it's gonna actually fit the Kindle. And I think it does so far. I feel like I'm like definitely missing something, and I know I'm definitely going to be using my seam ripper at some point because there's no way that I'm gonna love the first, you know, stitch that I'm gonna be sewing. So yeah, I think I'm ready to actually use the machine now. So let's just double check. It looks like it's gonna fit. Oh my god, I think it's barely gonna fit. So I might actually have to make this top a little bit smaller than this. I am using 1/2 inch, but maybe 1/4 inch would do as well. I think it actually looks a little thick. So I think just a little bit smaller would do the trick. Okay, so I think I'm gonna repin this and then sew it. So we already made a mistake because I was trying to do it on one side, but I guess like part of the fabric was not like aligned, and so there's like where is it? Like a hole right here ish. But this would be what it would look like if I were to like, so I sewed it like this, and so once I flip it inside out, it would look like this, where the seams are kind of like that rather than like this if I were to have sewed it like just regularly like this. So that's kind of like what it would look like. So I guess now I have to just use the seam ripper, which is so annoying, and get all the seams out from the side and kind of redo it. So I guess that's what we'll do, and then I will try again sewing it and making sure that everything is aligned this time. Okay, so I finally finished, and I guess this is the moment of truth, but I kind of trimmed the edges a little bit so that there's not a lot of extra fabric. And a trick that I learned so that you have more crispy corners when you flip it is to like cut diagonally on the corners. And so when you flip it, see, oh my god, it kind of looks tiny, and like I feel like it's gonna be very snug when I do it. So I know it's not the like most cleanest sewing job, but I think it did the trick. Oh no, there's like a small little hole, but I think I just don't want to redo this whole thing again for like something so small. Maybe I'll just sew it, like hand sew it, so that it will fix itself. But that's so annoying. Okay, so it looks like this. It looks so tiny actually, so I'm kind of nervous if it even fits, but I have my Kindle right here and see if it fits. I think it should, but like I said, I think it's very snug. But it is, I think it is just the right size. I think what I would love to do next is like, this is how much room is at the top. I think I would like to make it just a little bit bigger, but this is, yeah, I mean, I think width-wise, it's what I want. Maybe a little bit bigger so that's easy to put in. But it's, like I said, it's very snug, so that doesn't move around that much. But I would love more at the top. Maybe I could even add like a zipper or like a button. I was thinking either like a button where you can like have a flap over it and you kind of tie it, or a button at the top and you literally button it on this side. So it's like and open and close. But I don't know, like, this is cute so far. This is exactly what I was thinking of making. It's not perfect, like I said before, but no one can really see the ugly sewing lines at the moment, and this is my first time in a long time sewing, so I think so far it is a good job. I don't think I would make any product involving sewing. I think this is purely just like something that I would do for fun. I don't think I would do like any sewing projects for monetary reasons. Like, I would never do this for my shop, but I think this is something that I would do for fun because I love making like little DIY projects, and this only took like, I mean, it took a little bit longer than I think it should have for a normal person. It took me about an hour and it was fun. I think if I had the right equipment, like a better scissor or something to better mark the lines, I think it would have turned out a lot cleaner. But like I said, it was a lot of fun just making things again, and I am thinking about what I should make next because I have so much fabric of the little mushroom. So yeah, let me know if there's any DIYs that you think I should make with this fabric. Shout out to all the like seamstresses and everyone who make things by sewing for their shop, because oh my gosh, like, it requires so much patience to not freak out and just give up because you messed up a line and like have to rip it out and everything. So props to you guys. Like, I can never do that, but small projects like these are all I'm going to do for now. Okay, so it is now fall time, and so it's also football season, and to be honest, like, I don't really watch football, but my husband watches football, so every Sunday it's like a whole day affair of games throughout the day from like 1 to like 11 p.m. And so if you know anything about football, it is that it is 3 hours long about, and like I you know, I watch it, but like I can't sit through the whole thing without doing something else. I feel like I have to like multitask here, especially with football, because it's like so stop and go. It's not like consistent movement. Like, there's so many times where they just stop and then they replay the clip, and then, you know, it's just like time consuming. So I like to be productive and I like to draw, and so I decided to draw something that I was actually initially going to draw this for one of the stamps that I was going to do for my Japan themed sticker sheet. If you haven't seen that video, I think that's out already. Maybe it was a previous video, but like I said, I was gonna draw this for one of the stamps, but as I was drawing it, I was like, I think it doesn't fit with the like vibe of the sticker sheet. It's very more pinkish, whereas this drawing that I have is more colorful and maybe blue heavy, so I didn't know what to do with it. But as I was drawing it more and more, I'm like, I really love like I really enjoy drawing it, like, which I mean I enjoy drawing like all my other things, but this one in particular I was very detailed and I just like fell in love with drawing again by drawing this. So I drew kind of like that famous streak with the Glico Running Man in Osaka, Japan, and it's very colorful like I said, so it's not necessarily like my style normally because I don't use so many different colors, but like I said, I really enjoyed drawing this. I felt like it was so fun. I'm never like this detailed anymore, I feel, and I never draw something that's like the whole canvas anymore. So I really enjoyed it, and like, so each of these squares is kind of like a screen of a billboard, and I kind of just filled each one of them up. I did include some of them that were like consistently there, but there are some ads that like, you know, change up every now and then, so I had fun just like drawing random things, and it was so fun. Oh my gosh. And I just, like I said, I just fell in love with drawing again, and I just want to make more of these like fun drawings that like I don't have to put anywhere. Like I don't think I'm gonna do anything with it, honestly. Like I initially thought about doing it as a print maybe, but like I said, not necessarily like my style that I would sell. So I think this is gonna be just for me.